right now. So he's had a couple of ball games, especially in non-save situations where he's given up some runs.
All right, the Reds are taking the field defensively, and it's about time to play baseball. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves starting lineup tonight. Nick Markakis will lead things off in right field. Andrelton Simmons is a shortstop, and Freddie Freeman, he's there every single day, every single year at first base. Kelly Johnson having a nice year out in left. Alberto Callaspo at third. A.J. Pierzynski, the ageless one, behind the plate. Jace Peterson, a rookie, at second base. Cameron Maybin is in center field. And as we mentioned earlier, if you weren't with us, Shelby Miller is a red-hot pitcher right now.
He has been, and I think it'll be key for both of these clubs, Tom, keeping the ball in the ballpark, whether it be Mike Leake or Shelby Miller. That was the difference in the last time that these two hooked up. First 5 innings, it seemed like it went by in about 5 seconds because they were getting outs in consecutive fashion. But those back-to-back home runs by Barnhart and Leake, most unlikely heroes, they proved to be the difference in the ballgame.
Mike Leake overall comes in with a record of 2 up and 1 down. That earned run average is now down under 2.5, working on 16 consecutive scoreless innings.
I think the big number there is that 43 2/3 innings, especially for a guy that he may be listed at 6 foot. I'm not really sure that he's there. And his innings, he gets it up there.
Well, he is averaging over 7 innings per start so far this season.
Can't ask for much more than that.
No. So here we go. Markakis digging in. And first pitch swinging, expecting strikes right from the get-go from Leake. It's fouled away, strike one, and this one underway. Markakis, in his first year with the Atlanta Braves, we saw him, you may remember, in that 3-game series wearing a Baltimore Orioles uniform last year. This guy's a good hitter. And it's quickly 0-2.
You know, and we could almost say the same exact thing going into Atlanta when the Reds went south. Markakis, Freddie Freeman, they were hotter than a matchstick. Both of them hitting the ball very well. Did not hit very well against the Reds. They come into tonight's game, both hitting very well.
3 pitches, 3 strikes. It's 0-2 on Markakis. Simmons to follow. And then the first baseman, Freddie Freeman. Just off the inside corner, Laz Diaz calls the balls and strikes tonight. Sam Holbrook, the umpire at first. You be the judge here. Slightly inside, according to Fox Tracks. 2-2. Corey Blazer, the umpire at second, and the crew chief is Jeff Nelson, umpiring at third. Freddie Gonzalez again jumbles his lineup a little bit, but he's been doing that the entire year. Saturday and Sunday, the last 2 days, the Braves played in Washington. Was the first time this entire season Gonzalez has put together the same lineup, same batting order all year.
That's a whole lot of different lineups. 30 to be exact.
Well, it's an Atlanta team, as we talked about in Atlanta a little more than a week and a half ago, that basically overhauled nearly their entire roster. Bouncing ball back up through the middle. Nate Groen on the first base side of second, had him played there and throws him out. Take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Billy Hamilton in center, flanked by Bird and Jay Bruce. We mentioned it. After knocking a cover off the ball all weekend in Chicago, Zach Cozart, who injured his left wrist when he was hit, you may remember, down in Atlanta by Julio Teheran, apparently has some discomfort in that wrist again tonight. He was originally in the lineup, then taken out of the lineup a little after 6 o'clock Eastern time. Breaking ball, strike one to Andrelton Simmons.
Well, it was a little cold from what I hear when the Reds were in Chicago, and sometimes getting hit on the wrist and the cold don't quite go together too well.
Well, Cozart did not play, you may remember, during the entire Pittsburgh series. That was a series right after getting hit. Then he returned against the White Sox. That ball stung into right field. Jay Bruce on the run, and it bounces up and over the wall. A ground rule opposite field double for Andrelton Simmons. Boy, Bruce was playing very shallow, it looked like, there for a guy who's got some pop in that bat.
Yeah, he got it on the good part of the bat, but you can see Bruce as he goes back. Jay actually was looking at the wall and was not even near the warning track yet. That's a lot of times you see Bruce catch that ball, even though that ball was hit over his head.
Well, now Freddie Freeman, he is the main man in this Atlanta Braves batting order. And that ball is driven into deep left field. Marlon Byrd able to track it for out number 2. Boy, Byrd has been so good defensively in this his first month wearing a Reds uniform. Of course, he used to be a center fielder, so perhaps it's not a surprise.
Well, he's played all 3 outfield spots, but you're right, Tom. When he came up with the Phillies, he was a center fielder. Covered a lot of ground. Seems to always get his body in the proper position. May not be as fast as he was when he was 25 years old, but he sure has the fundamentals down.
2 down for Kelly Johnson. Johnson really hurt the Reds. That 4-game series in Atlanta a couple of weekends ago. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Hit a 2-run home run against Johnny Cueto. That was a game the Reds were trying to make it 3 wins in 4 games and have their ace on the mound, and the Braves beat Johnny Cueto.
Got a couple of balls out over the plate, and he did some serious damage with them.
Leake will survive a 1-out double as Phillips throws out Johnson. So now the Reds come to bat. Bottom of the 1st inning, no score. Take a look at the skipper starting lineup tonight, presented by Meyer. Reds are hoping this man, Billy Hamilton, can get things going. That batting average at .203. Marlon Byrd red hot. Joey Votto in a 3-hole. Frazier, Phillips, and Bruce a middle third. They also need Bruce to come alive. A latter third of Negron, Tucker Barnhart, and Mike Leake against a 4-1 right-hander with an ERA at 1.66, a former Cardinal, Shelby Miller.
He has yet to have a start where he has given up more than 2 earned runs, this being his 7th start. Last time out, a 3-hit shutout. The Reds are going to have to lay off of that high fastball. They chased it a lot in Atlanta.
The Reds beat him that night. They scored the 3 runs, 2 of them earned in 7 innings. They get the home runs, of course, from 2 unlikely sources in Barnhart and Leake in the 8 and 9 spots. Hamilton down, strike one. There's a start you referred to, Cowboy. 99 pitches in a complete game, his first of the year. Former #1 pick. Is a talented kid.
Yeah, you may say, well, that was against the Phillies. Look, that's a big league ball club, and you shut them out. That's doing something.
Miller started 31 games in each of his first 2 major league seasons with St. Louis. Posted back-to-back 10 wins in 13 and 14. But really struggled down the stretch when the Cardinals really needed him to step up and deliver the goods. It turned out to be Michael Wacha. You may remember a couple of years ago, he was just incredible, winning the National League Championship Series MVP. 3-1 on Billy Hamilton.
I think part of Miller's success so far here in Atlanta has been due to a small change in his repertoire, not throwing the changeup as much as he did in St. Louis, using more of the power type of fastball, cutting and sinking, and then riding that high heater up and out of the strike zone for the strikeout. Occasionally you'll see the curveball when he gets way ahead, but he will climb the ladder with the fastball more times than not.
And here's ball 4 to the major league's leading base stealer, Hamilton. He has 16 of them. Let's take a look at Atlanta defensively. Presented by Ford. Lehman, flanked by Johnson and Markakis. Simmons has won the Gold Glove at shortstop each of the last 2 years. Now, against Miller the first time, the Reds didn't have a lot of guys on base. The next night, when A.J. Pierzynski was behind the plate, they ran and ran wild.
And I would imagine we will see that again unless Shelby Miller pitches with the slide step. He didn't do that in St. Louis, nor did he do it in his first start. He's got that big leg kick, and Pierzynski doesn't throw like he used to.
Here's Marlon Byrd, and he's down, strike one.
And he used the slide step. The Braves had to understand after being 6 for 6 against Pierzynski that if you're going to pitch with him behind the plate, you're going to have to get the ball there a little quicker.
That was in the second game of that series, and you see teams certainly not afraid. That's been really the story against Pierzynski for a long time. Not afraid to run on him. Of course, that's primarily stealing against a man on the mound. Now, he did pick his leg up a little bit more that time and threw the high gas, and that's a pitch you talked about. The Reds are going to have to lay off tonight.
Well, that's the, I guess, getting comfortable for Shelby Miller. That first pitch, he was really quick to the plate with Hamilton there. That time he took a little bit more time. If the Reds don't take advantage of running, he'll continue to bring that leg higher and higher. Because for a power pitcher, Tom, you want to get your legs underneath you before you drive to the plate. A slide step for some pitchers makes them uncomfortable and makes them get underneath the baseball.
The Reds lead all major league teams with 37 stolen bases in 40 attempts. There goes Hamilton. Throw down a second by Pierzynski. No chance. And that's number 17 for Billy Hamilton.
You can see Billy rocking back and forth. He gets a great jump. A one-hop throw. You get a jump like that, not too many catchers are going to throw him out. Tried to slide step. He abbreviated the leg kick, but it still took him a while to get the hand up into the position to throw to the plate.
One ball and 2 strikes, a count on Marlon Byrd. 2-2. Byrd had an incredible road trip. I mean, he looked lost. Admittedly, looked lost. When the Reds left to go on that trip, all he did was hit .367. A double, a triple, 4 home runs, and 9 runs batted in. But gone swinging here. Arizona, Joey Votto. A .315 batter, 7 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Votto on the road trip hit .324. He did not homer on the road trip. He had 2 doubles, 4 walks, 4 RBIs.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. And now Hamilton watches that one thrown into left center, and he will slam on the brakes. He had thoughts, fleeting perhaps, albeit.
Well, that is what happens when you get into a pitcher's head. Andrelton Simmons made 1 step towards second, and Shelby Miller turns to throw and cannot hold the baseball. I mean, that's just a straight brain cramp. That means Billy Hamilton is inside your skull.
The Braves defense going to concede the run. They have the infield playing back with Votto at the plate. The Reds as a team are hitting .203 with the runners in scoring position. .203.
And you wonder at this point, Tom, if it's more a mental issue than it is physicality at the plate. Because every time a runner gets out there, I mean, the Reds are hitting the ball quite well. We just talked about the numbers they put up on the road trip. But the numbers are still the same with a runner in scoring position. So you wonder, are they applying too much pressure to themselves?
Well, you saw Votto has very, very good numbers overall with the runners in scoring position. But he has had far greater success with runners in scoring position with fewer than 2 outs, as is the case right now. And even though they are conceding the run defensively, I don't know about you, Cowboy, but I would be stunned if Votto gets anything to hit in this at bat the rest of the way.
I would tend to agree.
But of course, you're talking about a guy who, as you mentioned, he hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in a start all year long. So maybe he feels that good about his stuff. 3-1 on a breaking ball.
Well, if you're Shelby Miller, you're going to try to make Votto hit your pitch, a pitcher's pitch. If you do walk him, then you've got Todd Frazier, a right-handed batter, coming to the plate. And if you're Shelby Miller, you're thinking to yourself, I can get a double play ball here without a run scoring.
Well, he got a pitch to hit. He threw a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. But again, we go back to something that Jeff brought up before the game ever started. Miller makes a living throwing high fastballs, and guys have a very tough time catching up.
Well, they look so good, but by the time you get the bat into the swing zone, that ball is up above your shoulders.
Votto had the 1-game suspension after bumping the umpire in Pittsburgh, and handled himself with just tremendous class. And
I thought he handled it wonderfully well. I thought his comments were on point.
Two away in the inning.
You see all of the pitchers. Look at the groupings at the top of the strike zone. This is where Shelby Miller likes to go when he knows you are in the swing mode. You've got a runner in scoring position with a quality hitter at the plate. You know Votto is going to try to drive him in. That's where Miller goes for the out. And he'll do the same thing here to Frazier.
Todd at .241, 10 home runs. Has 19 runs batted in. There's a high fastball at 95, and Frazier, at least for one pitch, is able to lay off.
I mean, every hitter comes to the plate to hit a fastball. That's what you're after. But you got to get it down there where that pitch was. And that's what Miller likes to do. He'll give you a little teaser down low in the strike zone. If you don't make contact, then he'll elevate it again. Try to take you back up in the zone. More times than not, Tom, even when you make contact with that high fastball, especially at that 94, 95 mile an hour velocity, it's nothing more than a simple pop-up.
I think Todd is still hurting a little bit after fouling that one off his left leg.
Yeah, that ball ran right in on his hands and right onto his foot.
Runner at third, 2 away, bottom of the first inning, scoreless game. And that's high, a breaking ball. 2-1 to Todd Frazier. Well, if you're just rolling in, maybe a lot going on with the kids or getting home late from work, let's see where that got him. Yeah, above the left ankle, looked like maybe the left shin. Nearly 2 hours late getting started tonight. Great to have you with us on this Monday night. Callaspo on the high one hopper, and that's all for the Reds. Runner at third with 1 out, and they cannot score. Into 1, no score. Here, the Power Stacks. Ruth Hartke from Edgewood, Kentucky will win that beautiful new Tundra, and you can register for your chance to win. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. How would that Toyota ride around down there in Mississippi?
Oh, that'd be sweet. It wouldn't be looking red, though. It'd be looking brown because we'd be four-wheeling. Mudslinging.
But I thought the mud down in Mississippi had a more red tint to it. Or is that Georgia?
Well, there is some clay, but that's more towards the Alabama out that.
It's just dirty dirt.
It's just it's straight mud. Think Mississippi River.
All right. That was a term I heard from your old teammate one night. You know, Bob Brennan used to say that Shea Stadium had the dirtiest dirt of any infield that he ever played on. And I'm still trying to figure that out. 2-1 to Alberto Callaspo.
I think what he meant was when you got it on you, it didn't come off.
No score. The Braves coming to bat here in the top half of the second inning. It's 3-1 on Callaspo. The Braves got a 1-out double by Simmons in the first inning. Leake retired Freeman and Johnson to get out of the inning. And that's straight in the air. That's not Callaspo's game. Billy Hamilton waits on it, and that's an easy one for out number one. Now these Atlanta Braves come limping into this weekend series. They were a .500 team. They were starting to feel a little better about things. Had a good start, a little rough patch, starting to play a little better. And all of a sudden they went into Washington, and the Nationals are white hot, especially Bryce Harper. Of course, he had 3 home runs in 1 game against him. That was to win the series opening. Well, the Nationals swept that weekend series.
The Braves scored some runs. They just couldn't hold the Nationals.
What, Harper's hit 6 home runs in what, his last 3 games?
I think you are correct.
It's not bad.
I would say not. I want to put him on. They said next guy.
Well, here's a guy that nobody was getting out to begin this season. Now he's cooled off a little bit, Pierzynski, but still at .323, 3 home runs, 14 batted in, and there's a roll to Brandon. 2 away. It's funny how when you see teams, and with the Reds and the Braves, after they play this 3-game series, they don't play again the rest of this regular season. And we talk about it all the time, how it's not always who you play, but when you play them. And that holds true for pitchers on the mound and the hitters they are facing. This Peterson kid, who's going to end the inning on a ground ball to Phillips.
Getting better and better.
Getting better and better. A 1-2-3 inning for Mike Leake. No score after 1.5.
Underway a little late tonight, but about a little late night baseball. You know, tonight's game is Police and Firefighter Appreciation Night here at Great American Ballpark. And before the game, they had a very nice and moving ceremony. And one guy that they are honoring is Daryl Gordon. He was the firefighter that died in the line of duty in March. And the Reds are donating $1 for every regularly priced ticket tonight to the Daryl Gordon Fund to help out his family. And we applaud that, and we certainly want to applaud every police officer and firefighter that put their lives on the line for us each and every day. We can't thank you enough.
Well, you better believe that, Jim Day, and seemingly all the time. You know, you might have a situation here, a situation there that's not good, that's tragic, that's sad, and then we hear about them every single day. But tell you what, those men and women on the streets as police men and women and firefighters. I'll have them on my team all day, every day.
We just had a couple killed at home in the line of duty right before Mother's Day. One of the officers had just gotten out of the academy, 25 years of age. It's a major sacrifice to keep us safe.
Scoreless game, bottom half of the second inning. Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Christopher Negron due up. Brandon at .310 that batting average. He too had a nice road trip, as Jim Day talked about before we got started tonight. Simmons able to knock it down, but that'll be an infield hit for Brandon Phillips. We've seen Brandon do that a lot more and more here recently during this nice hitting streak, hitting a lot of balls into center and into right center field.
Well, you hear the hitting coach for the Braves, Kevin Seitzer, talking about using the big part of the field, hitting the ball up the middle, left center, right center, and he's talking about that with Andrelton Simmons and Kelly Johnson. And as you mentioned, Don Long giving the same information along the lines of Brandon Phillips and Marlon Byrd, and both of them are striking the ball with some regularity.
Jay Bruce, a .167 batting average, has 5 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Bruce on the road trip, only 4 hits and 33 at bats. 2-0. Jay playing in his 997th game here tonight. All, of course, in a Reds uniform. So when the Giants are in town, he will hit the 1,000 mark. How about that? Into right field, Phillips will go first to third. And the Reds have something working against Shelby Miller here in the bottom of the second inning.
This was something that the Reds were not able to do in Atlanta against Shelby Miller, and that is string together hits. But you see, you get him down in the strike zone, you've got a much better chance to make solid contact.
Well, you certainly have to like your chances of getting on the board here in the second inning. We'll see how it plays out. Negron filling in again for the injured Zach Kozoi. On the corners with nobody out. And that one, a breaking ball, hits Negron in the head. And you can see he didn't even flinch. That was flipped up there at 78 miles per hour. I mean, you don't take that for granted. But it beats 98 miles per hour.
That's 3 curveballs now from Shelby Miller that had been way up and out of the strike zone. This one comes out way early and catches Negron in the front shoulder.
Yeah, my bad. Got him in the shoulder, not the head, thankfully. So now a big deep breath by the Reds catcher Tucker Barnhart. The last time he saw Shelby Miller, his first time up he grounded to second. His next time up he struck out. But the last time he saw him, he hit one to the seats in right field.
And it was a bomb.
That was the first of back-to-back home runs from the numbers 8 and 9 batters.
Up in the zone, Tucker Barnhart jacks it out of right field, and the very next batter, Lee got him one down in the strike zone.
One and 0 on Tucker Barnhart. In the air. Well hit into left center field. Now Maven's going to run it down, but this is going to serve 2 purposes. It'll knock in a run, And it'll send Jay Bruce second to third. Well done by Tucker Barnhart. And the Reds have a 1-0 lead.
That is something the Reds have done a ton of this year, and that's getting on the board first. But the bottom line, if you get on first, you got to hold that lead.
So now Mike Leake, he only has 2 hits and 16 at bats this year. You know, we talk all the time what a great hitter, and I mean truly, he was a great hitter. His first 3 years in the big leagues. Now the last 2 years, he's really cooled down from where he was the first 3.
That's what happens when you start taking guys
right.
deep. Hey, you're seeing sliders, change-ups, fastballs up and in. They're not just laying it in there for you.
Well, he has 5 career home runs, and we mentioned he got Miller on a Thursday a couple of weeks ago at Turner Field.
I'll never forget the ball that he hit here off of Garrett Cole, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and it got out of here at about 108.
Now the Reds attempted, you may remember, a suicide squeeze a couple of days ago, but could not get the bunt down. It's time for tonight's T-Mobile game changer. League 4-1 in the 5 games that he has hit a home run, including most recently against Miller and the Braves.
That April 15th last year, that was against Garrett Cole. That was impressive.
Runner goes first to second base, and Bruce running on contact. He's in a rundown, and he'll be tagged out. Of course, the Reds are trying to stay out of the double play, so they start the runner at first base. Bruce was not forced to come down the line on this ground ball.
Well, he got caught, but at least he stayed in the rundown long enough to allow Negron to get to third base.
So you go from bases loaded and nobody out to now first and third, 2 outs. You do have 1 run home. And here's Billy Hamilton. He walked, stole a base, was stranded at third in the opening inning.
Get a pitcher on the ropes. You try to do everything you can to make it count as much as possible.
Popped up down to third base line, and in foul ground it is Simmons to retire the side. The Reds get a run. They strand 2 and lead 1-0 at the end of 2.
by authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Welcome back to Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati. We were supposed to have started this one at 7:10, but we didn't get started until about 8:45, 8:50 due to a storm front that came rolling through the area. But my, oh my, you can feel the way it has cooled down already, and we are in store for some spectacular weather during this entire homestand. 2 more against Atlanta. Tickets are available, night games tomorrow and then again on Wednesday to wrap it up. And then the Giants, the team you broke in with the big leagues, come to town for 4.
It's a big crew in Kuiper.
Looking forward to seeing those guys as always.
Giants playing better baseball. They got off to a rough start.
Reds lead here 1-0. Scoreless innings for Leake, extending his consecutive run to 18 in a row. 2-0 on Cameron Maben, 8-9-1 in the Atlanta batting order here in the 3rd inning. And the Giants are now 2 games under 500, but they've won 7 of their last 10. Well, they got off to a terrible start. And what a matchup on tap Friday night here at Great American Ballpark. Does not get any better.
Would that be the big lefty and the big righty?
It would be.
Cueto and Bumgarner.
World Series hero of last year, Madison Bumgarner, and Johnny Cueto for the Reds here Friday night.
You know, sometimes the rotations get a little skewed as the season goes along. Number ones don't quite face number ones all the time. But when you get a matchup like that, that's what I pay for.
Well, you know what? No sooner do I say that, Cowboy, but it appears as though the Giants, just a little while ago, I'm told, as Brandon throws out Maben, has shifted their rotation. Cueto is going to face Tim Lincecum. He's a former Cy Young Award winner.
Right.
That will be on Thursday night. And apparently it's going to be Jason Marquis v. Madison Bumgarner. That'll be Friday night, so I beg your pardon. I get myself so excited that I didn't double check the Giants shifting around their rotation.
Well, the Giants have had to make quite a few moves in their rotation. They've had some injuries. Peavy and Vogelsong's ineffectiveness, and Hudson, they've been moving pieces left and right.
Tapper back to the mound, 2 away. Now Vogelsong finally turned in a good outing yesterday. He got locked up in a good one with our old buddy Matt Latos, who threw a very good game for Miami yesterday. Giants wound up winning that game. Vogelsong will pitch on Saturday night against Mike Leake. 7:10 start, our first Saturday night game of the year. And then Sunday to wrap it up, Michael Lorenzen against Chris Heston, who's pitched pretty well. He'll pitch tomorrow night when the Giants open a series in Houston.
First time I saw Heston's name in the box score, it just said C. Heston. All I could think about was Moses. I couldn't help it. Charlton Heston. Yeah. That was the only thing that went through my mind.
It's funny you say that, because last night my wife and I were flipping through maybe some movies to buy, and one of them that came up was the 10 Commandments. It's another classic that he was in.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. That's the movie I'm thinking about.
Of course it is.
That's solid.
One and 2 to count. When's the last time you think you watched that one? Been a while, probably, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought last night. I got to go back and rent that sometime. And for the younger crowd out there, you ought to check it out sometime. Great movie. Trying to think what it was you had dialed in the other night you were watching for the first time. Oh yeah, that's right.
Sniper.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
I remember you had it there on the computer.
That was big. You know you're watching a good movie when you've got your earphones on, and every time an action happens, you jump.
And there's a whole pile of that in that one.
Oh, man.
Two and two on Nick Markakis, trying to make it back-to-back perfect innings is Mike Leake, and now Markakis wants time. And that strike three call. 19 consecutive scoreless innings for Mike Leake. He has a 1-0 lead here in the third. Celebrating 13 years young. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Talked about Mike Leake and how much he's keeping the ball down. Look at the target by Tucker Barnhart and look where the pitch is. I mean, that is the bottom outside of the corner on Fox Tracks, and you see this ball turn over. It starts middle in and ends up right on the money. That is a pitcher's pitch extraordinaire.
Reds 1, Atlanta nothing. Shelby Miller to face 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. First pitch breaking ball to Marlon Byrd, whom Miller struck out in the first inning, and it's 0-1 to Marlon Byrd. Everybody in the National League Central Division, with the exception of the team leading the division, the St. Louis Cardinals, are in action tonight. Cubs in the fifth, a 4-1 lead over the Mets. Milwaukee 7-5 in front of the White Sox. And there is strike three call. Boy, that was good morning, good afternoon, and good night on breaking stuff.
It's the best breaking stuff we've seen from Shelby Miller here in the early going. Watch this baby, a little dewdrop in.
It's interesting that Miller has 3 strikeouts in this game, and they are against 2 of the hottest hitters in this Reds lineup coming into this game. Bird twice, and Votto with a runner at third and 1 out in the first inning. Pirates in the 8th inning with a 4-2 advantage in Philadelphia. That is something else right there, boy.
Well, I think that every pitcher, when Votto steps to the plate, especially the way that he's been hitting the ball, an elite hitter, you're on the mound, you dial it up. You're giving him your #1 stuff on every pitch.
Well, he just challenged Votto with 3 straight fastballs at 95, and that's all she wrote for Joey. 2 away in the inning.
Another elevated fastball, not quite up around the shoulders, but about belt high, still in the upper quadrant of the strike zone. Four-seam fastball, and you can see that baby hop to the plate.
So a 2-up, 2-down on strikeouts against Bird and Votto, and here's Todd Frazier. He bounced out to the third baseman, ending the first inning.
Starting to see Shelby Miller start to settle in a little bit. That's why it's so important. That run in the first inning, stranded at third. You had an opportunity in the second to put some extra runs on the board. You got to get him when you can. You know, we talk about that all the time. Good starters, you've got to get them early before they get in a groove.
Popped up into foul ground. It looks like Freeman has room, and he does, and the Reds are gone in order. We move to inning number 4, where the Reds own a 1-0 lead.
July 13th. Tickets are available online at allstargame.com. I'm Jim Day. Not only are the Reds honoring those firefighters and police officers on Police and Firefighter Appreciation Night, but they also honoring Melissa Rupert from Liberty Township. She is your MLB 2015 honorary Batgirl. Now, each team in Major League Baseball does this, and it recognizes baseball fans who have been affected by breast cancer and who have demonstrated a commitment to eradicating the disease. And she had quite the moment on the field, and we salute her as well as anyone that is battling that horrific disease. Anyone that's had it in their family or in their friendships knows what a troubling time it is. And I'd like to take the opportunity to once again salute my sister, who is a stage 4 breast cancer survivor. Love you, Pamela.
My God, indeed, for that, Jimbo. Thank you. Reds in front 1-0. The Braves have 2, 3, and 4 in their batting order here in the 4th inning off Mike Leake. And this is the only guy who has reached base against Leake through the front 3 for Atlanta. That's Andrelton Simmons. He had a double over Jay Bruce's head in right field in the opening inning.
And that ball was out over the plate and driven over Bruce's head the other way. This at bat, Leake has really stayed inside on Simmons.
In the air, left center field, hit well, and it is a tie ball game.
First 3 pitches all inside, and he jams Simmons on the last one. This time he's looking for it, and he crushes it. Well, what a difference in a swing from one bat to another. I don't think that's where Leake wanted that pitch.
So that'll end a string of 19 consecutive scoreless innings by right-hander Mike Leake. He had gone his last 2 starts of 8 innings shutout baseball, but the home run by Simmons starts the inning. Freeman follows with a single into left field. You know, and it just further magnifies the incredible streak, the greatest, the longest in the history of Major League Baseball. We remember back in 1988, we saw the interviews from the 25-year reunion of the 1990 Reds, and Jim Day, among others, interviewed Danny Jackson, who went 23-8 that year. And Danny Jackson's numbers in every category there was, stacked up against Oral Hershiser, they were right there, neck and neck. You name the category, and Jackson's numbers were as good, if not better, in many categories as Hershiser. But of course, he broke the all-time consecutive scoreless inning streak that year. Did Oral Hershiser.
It's dominating.
Breaking the record formerly held by another Dodger great, Don Drysdale. Well, a reminder, coming up a little bit later on, we'll have our Miller Time moment, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. For many of you wondering the exact number for Hershiser, that was 59 consecutive scoreless innings. 59. Swing and a miss is 2-2 on Johnson. That is just, it's mind-boggling. 59 consecutive scoreless innings.
It was almost as though he was reaching out to the plate and just setting it in the catcher's mitt, whether it be curveball, fastball, or the split finger. It just seemed like every pitch that he threw was right on the edges of the plate. And yet, of course, have to have some pretty good defense behind you as well.
That'll trickle through into right field, a base hit. Home run, single for the Braves to begin this inning.
Leake is going to have to buckle down the hatches.
Well, you certainly believe that Kayaspo will be asked to bunt here. Even though he's a number 5 hitter in the lineup, this is not, you know, the vintage sort of Atlanta Braves lineup that they have featured in years past, where they struck out a ton, but they also had tremendous thunder up and down the batting order. That is not the case anymore. Quick throw down to second base, and Freeman saw it coming. You know, to tie a ribbon around that Hershiser consecutive scoreless inning streak, that year in 1988, it was August the 30th. He pitched 4 scoreless innings to finish up a game, and then he pitched 10 shutout innings the final game of the regular season to break the record. An entire month, and did not allow a single run. Leake with a shot at third here. He'll get the out. So if there is one thing we have seen this year in baseball, Cowboy, among many things, the art of bunting
is lost.
Is almost before your very eyes. Strangely and ironically, in an era of baseball where runs scored are falling off a cliff, and where the ability to bunt and advance runners with a simple sacrifice has become far more important now than it's been in the game in the last 25 to 35 years. And you would be hard pressed to find anybody that can bunt well anymore.
Well, as Greg Maddux once said, chicks dig the long ball. They don't dig the bunt. And if you don't practice it, you're not going to be able to execute. That's the bottom line. This is a game of repetition. And how many guys do you know that really want to get in the cage and practice bunting? But if you want to win, you better do it.
And maybe as the season goes on, maybe guys will get better as the year has gone on. But at least through the first month, we have seen more failed attempts at trying to put down a bunt than I can ever remember. There's strike one to A.J. Pierzynski. You agree or disagree with that?
I totally agree. And there's so many out there that'll tell you, well, bunting's not as easy as you think it is. I disagree. I had to do it for a living. If you practice it, you can do it. All you're doing is catching the ball with the good part of the bat.
1-1 to Pierzynski in this 1-1 game here in the fourth with 2 on and 1 out.
But there's a difference between a sacrifice bunt and trying to bunt for a hit. Callaspo was leaving the box as he made contact with the ball. That's not a sacrifice. That is poor execution. There's a reason that they call it a sacrifice bunt, because you're giving yourself up. You stand in the box, you square around, you get the bat out in front, and you bend your knees and you bunt the ball on the ground down each line.
Base hit into left center field by Pierzynski. They're going to hold the runner at third. Bird fires back into Todd Frazier. 4 hits in this inning for the Braves against Mike Leake. And the last time he faced them, he allowed 2 hits total through 8 innings.
Backdoor breaking ball that creeps back over the plate. And as much as we talked about Leake being down in the strike zone, right at the bottom of the kneecaps, in this inning, he is anything but. Everything has been elevated, and the ball has been put into play with line drive fashion.
Well, he could use a double play right at one of his middle infielders right here and right now. Peterson, the batter, and a check swing looked like he went no on the appeal to Jeff Nelson.
Well, if the Reds are going to turn over a double play, it's going to have to be right at an infielder, and it's going to have to be hit pretty hard. Peterson can run.
Well, you'll take that. Nearly doubling up the runner, Callaspo, but he was able to get back just in time. But that's a big out. 2 away.
Caught it off the end of the bat. Quick move by Negron. Great reaction by Brandon Phillips to break to the bag. Just couldn't quite get it done.
1 more out to go for Leake. They are loaded in this 1-1 game. Cameron Maben, the batter, he bounced out to Brandon Phillips, his only time up tonight. Strike 1.
When you get out of this without another run, you feel like Harry Houdini.
Back-to-back breaking balls, and both times it looked like Maven's trying to
hit it
down Eastern Avenue. The big play in this inning right now, if Lee can get out of it, is a failed bunt attempt by Kayaspo. They have Johnson at third, Kayaspo at second, and Pierzynski at first with 2 away. And the 0-2 on Cameron Maven. And he will get out of the inning without any further damage, with the exception of a leadoff home run by Simmons. Middle of the 4th, it's a 1-1 game. Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Meyer. By your local Ford dealer, Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals in America. Welcome back to downtown Cincinnati along the banks of the mighty Ohio. 1-1 game between two of the best pitchers so far in this Major League Baseball season in either league. Mike Leake for the Redlegs comes in with an ERA of under 2.5. His consecutive scoreless inning streak comes to an end in the top of this 4th inning at 19 in a row on the home run by Andrelton Simmons. And for Shelby Miller, boy, the Reds had him on the ropes in both the 1st and 2nd innings. And all they could manage was one single run on a sac fly from Tucker Barnhart. They had Billy Hamilton at 3rd with 1 out in the 1st inning. Votto struck out. Frazier grounded out. The Reds had the bases loaded with nobody out in the 2nd inning and managed just the 1 run. And then Miller went right through in rapid fashion. Bird, Votto, Frazier in the 3rd. Simmons will throw out Brandon to begin the 4th inning. Philadelphia trying to rally against the Pirates closer Mark Melanson in the bottom of the 9th inning. Philadelphia scored a runner at first base, trailing by a single run. 1-1 to Jay Bruce. Jay singled into right field in the 2nd inning. If there is saying one thing Clint Hurdle, the Pirates skipper, has proven among many things, he's done such a great job in Pittsburgh. But if there is certainly one thing he is not afraid to do, that is pull the hook on a struggling closer. And he's already got guys warming up in the bullpen behind Melancon tonight.
Well, Melancon's had a tough go early, very similar to what we saw with Jason Grilli a couple of years ago. He had a difficult time. All of a sudden, Grilli's in California, and Melancon's a closer. Look, the one thing that when you're on the mound in the ninth inning and you're the designated closer, and you look back and there are guys warming up behind you day in and day out, you're either going to do one of two things. You're either going to start getting the job done, or you're going to fold up like a tent. And if you fold up like a tent, they don't want you out there anyway.
Bruce gone swinging. Of course, Grilli is now the closer for these Atlanta Braves.
Yes, he is.
Friday night, be part of the Reds fan cam with Mo Egger from 700 WLW over at the Holy Grail. You can win great prizes if you can answer Reds trivia and maybe be a part of Reds Live. The fun gets started this Friday night. Big weekend with the Giants in town. It's at the Holy Grail at 6 o'clock over on the Banks. Come on down. Fly ball straight away center field off the bat of Negron, and that'll do it. Reds are gone in order. We march on to inning number 5 in a 1-1 affair. Thursday, this Saturday. It's part of our Super Saturdays for this entire year. The first 25,000 fans in attendance this week receive the Johnny Bench Stars of the Queen City bobblehead presented by John Morrell. 3-in-1 REDS for tickets. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets. Our producer Brian Hunterman, our director Roy Alphys, and our entire crew right here at Great American Ballpark finally back home after the Reds wrapped up their second road trip of the year, and both of them have been 3-city, 10-game, 11-day road trips. So the first of 7 here in downtown Cincinnati begins tonight. Our associate producers Matt Sigafus and Lauren White. Reds Live produced by Kent Weaver. Our coordinating producer Bob Pennell and our executive producer Tom Farmer. Bouncing ball, Shelby Miller to the right for Brandon Phillips. One away.
you look at Mike Leake's hot zones down here in the bottom, that's really where he wants to be, down here. And that's where he's been here in his last couple of starts. Now, the last inning, the ball was elevated a little bit, and you saw some Atlanta Braves offense. Where Leake wants to be is in that bottom quadrant, those last 3 squares down there, right where Tucker Barnhart has that mitt, and he hits right in the center there.
Markakis, a leadoff man, 0 for 2 tonight, has grounded to short and struck out looking.
You're getting ground outs like that. That's where Leake wants it. Sinker ball pitcher wants to stay right down around the kneecaps. If he does come up, he wants it to be in on the hands and then go right back down and away.
Well, that one just chewed up Markakis. I don't know. There's another play we've seen a handful of times this year, where Votto ranges far to his right and Brandon Phillips is standing right behind him, and those two guys have started almost 900 games together.
Well, here's the problem that you have. That ball is routine for Brandon Phillips, but you can see how far off the first baseline Votto is. That is a very difficult play for Votto to get to, but what it does do is it caroms off the glove of Votto, and then Phillips has no play.
Might have scored a base hit for Markakis, and boy, that is a fortuitous base hit for Markakis. That was a jam shot roller to the right side that I'm not sure if anybody doesn't even get a glove on it. That doesn't stop about 20 feet into the grass in the outfield.
Well, a lot of times you'll have the third baseman cut in front of the shortstop, but you have communication there. The shortstop behind him, I got it, and you'll see the third baseman let it go, or vice versa.
Frazier will play to first for the second out of the inning.
But the communication on defensive play like that is of the utmost importance.
It was a slight exaggeration, but not a big exaggeration. Tonight is the 866th start together for Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips. That is the most on the right side of the infield for any tandem in Reds history, and the second most among active players, behind only Ryan Howard and Chase Utley at 1,100 for the Philadelphia Phillies. And now you have to face the best hitter in their lineup.
And I think the key with any part of your defensive positioning, each player has to know where the man beside him is going to be. Brandon had shifted over towards the right field line with the left-handed Markakis at the plate.
Now you are dealing with one tough out, and that's a go-ahead run out there at second base.
Well, not only a tough out with nobody on, but even a tougher out with runners in scoring position is Freddie Freeman. I mean, this is when he becomes game on.
Yeah, Freeman has been among the very, very best in all of Major League Baseball. Over the last 4 seasons, only 13 hitters in both leagues have a higher batting average with runners in scoring position than the .318 average of Freddie Freeman. And he has hit the ball very hard twice tonight.
There are some hitters that come to the plate with a runner in scoring position, and they're thinking, all right, I'm about to get fed right here. And then there are other guys that come to the plate and think, how much sawdust can I squeeze out of this bat? And if you're on the mound, you do know the difference.
3-1 to Freeman, and it's ball 4.
That's not a bad walk there. watch the sequence with Freeman. None of these balls are on the plate. They're either in or they're down and away. Leake is trying to get Freeman to chase something that is a pitcher's pitch. Sinking it away, cutting it in. But none of those pitches were going to catch any part of the white of the plate.
All right, 2 on with 2 out. In a 1-1 game here in the 5th. Ball 1 to Kelly Johnson.
But here's the key to walking Freeman. If you're going to walk Freeman, you got to get this guy.
Johnson 1 of 2 is grounded out to Phillips, and then he singled into right field his last time up an inning ago. Lined right at Frazier, and that'll end the inning.
Catch a break.
A hit, 2 left. Middle of the 5th. We're tied at 1.
Where your stats should dictate what the team does. That's why I was so proud to be a member of the Big Red Machine.
Right.
Because you walk in our clubhouse, this guy's leading the league in home runs, this guy's leading the league in stolen bases, I'm leading the league in hits, this guy's leading the league in batting.
Right.
I mean, it was a fun clubhouse.
Right.
Now you walk in this clubhouse, this guy's hitting 210, this guy's hitting 220. Mum's the word. No one's even talking.
Wow.
And the object of the game is to win the game.
Right.
That's why you play sports. That's why they have the $1 million scoreboards. Somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to win. I want to win.
Now, who says Pete Rose doesn't own a tie? That is the Hit King making his debut tonight on Fox Sports 1. As we told you previously, he is now with Fox Sports as a baseball analyst. And I got to tell you, watching some of it was very, very enjoyable before the game. And we all hope that you're enjoying the snippets we're giving you. And we showed some during the rain delay tonight of my conversation with Pete back in spring training. I got to tell you, he's just entertaining, insightful, as best as you can get when you sit him with the mic.
Well, you're not lying about that, Jimbo. He was just terrific tonight. But as you mentioned, that's not a surprise to anybody who's had a chance to talk baseball with Pete Rose for 5 minutes, or like you did out in Vegas, 5 hours. The guy's mind is just as sharp as it gets when it comes to talking about baseball, not only of his playing days, but all the players that are playing right now. And his sense of humor is just wonderful. Well, he concluded that show tonight by looking at one of my favorite people in the world, Chris Myers, and C.J. Nitkowski. You know C.J.
Oh, yeah.
They said to him, hey, now we're going to come do this again tomorrow night. And Pete said, well, you two better get a lot better, because you were a couple of stiffs and I was really good tonight.
You see Pete on there tonight, and I loved everything that he had to say, both the serious and the comical side. But I scratch my head and I think, why did this not happen earlier? I mean, he was money. that was fun to listen to.
Sure was. And you know, look, I don't say it because I get a paycheck from them, being the guys at Fox, because I sent a congratulatory note to the two guys that had to make that decision about hiring him. It was a gutsy decision because, look, you know, their partner nationally and what, 17 teams locally is with Major League Baseball. And it may not be everybody, but there certainly has to be somebody inside of Major League Baseball that maybe wasn't all that thrilled about that decision.
Right. Well, if you saw any of Pete Rose tonight, it was as enjoyable as it gets from a commentary standpoint.
Yes,
he was right on point.
And you know what it was at the end of the day? It's good for baseball that Pete Rose was on there tonight talking about baseball, and for people that love watching and talking.
Well, I love the opinion, and then I love the explanation of the opinion. It wasn't just throwing mud up against the wall. He had some basis for every single thing that he said, even when it was funny. I can't wait till he's back on there.
Well, he'll be back on tomorrow night. He'll be on, I believe, if it's the same schedule as last night, he would be on at 5 o'clock tomorrow. You know, bits and pieces here and there. And then he is on for an extended period of time right at 7 o'clock. So you can watch it for 10 minutes before dialing in on the Reds and the Braves, and you and I will hopefully be here tomorrow night. Unless they bring Pete in here and you and I are gone.
I'll still tune in. It's just awfully enjoyable to hear someone with knowledge of the game dissect it in a different manner. It just feels good.
0-2 to Billy Hamilton. And a one-hopper down at third, and the struggles just continue for Billy Hamilton. 12 in a row set down by Shelby Miller. We're tied at 1. In the first inning, the Reds loaded them up in the second inning with nobody out. Got a sac fly from Tucker Barnhart. That would be their only run in the inning. The Braves would tie the game. A solo home run by Andrelton Simmons, ending Mike Leake's run of 19 consecutive scoreless frames. Miller picking him up and mowing him down. And Mike Leake survived a 4-hit fourth inning, but it's a 1-1 game. Of the 6 left on base for Atlanta, 5 have come in the last 2 innings. And a big reason why this game is still tied is the inability to put down the sacrifice bunt by the man who leads off here in the 6th, Alberto Callaspo. This one laced into right center. Jay got a good jump, runs it down.
Hit that ball pretty good, but Bruce got a great jump on it. Think back to that double earlier in the ball game that went over the head of Bruce. I'm not sure that he even saw that ball as we look back at it. Normally Jay Bruce's jumps in right field are about perfected.
The Milwaukee Brewers blew a huge lead tonight against the Chicago White Sox. Chicago coming back to tie that game at 7. The Brewers come to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. They get a monster home run from Alien Herrera. And then Chris Davis added a home run. The Brewers in front 10-7. That one not over yet. That'll fall in, a base hit into right center field by Pierzynski. Jay lost his footing, but right back up. Pierzynski is second hit in 3 at bats.
Leake trying to cut that ball in on the hands of Pierzynski, and it runs right back over the plate. Where Leake has gotten hurt tonight has been the ball that has come back over the plate that has been about thigh high.
This A.J. Pierzynski. You know, we talked about it when we were down in Atlanta. His manager for many, many years with the White Sox, Ozzie Guillen, outspoken, very colorful character. And you know, he made the comment that when you play against A.J. Pierzynski, you just hate him. When he plays on your team, you hate him a little less. A little dribbler. Guy can run. And
Joy wasn't on the bag.
It looked like Votto changed his feet there on the bag at the last second and kind of got caught in between.
Yeah, didn't get his feet right. And it didn't look like he thought that Leake was going to make the play. Got his feet shuffled wrong and ultimately ends up being safe. He was not even on the bag and he would have been out. Wow.
So now Cameron Maybin with 2 on and 1 out. And it's ball 1 outside. Oh, they'll score that a hit too. And look out down there in the seats. So Leake going to have to pitch out of a jam for what now is the 3rd consecutive inning. And really, you look at the last inning and that play here a moment ago.
Well, you can't give away outs.
No, and that's what the Reds are forcing Leake to get 4 outs now in back-to-back innings. You do have the pitcher Shelby Miller due up next, so this is a big batter in this inning and in this game. 2-1 to Maybin.
Well, if you have 2 outs, you can pitch Maybin tough and go to the pitcher. Can't do that now because Markakis would be the next guy.
Check swing and a miss, fooled him on a breaking ball down and away from him, and Maybin appears to be pulling off of virtually everything.
Now, Cameron Maybin, as you mentioned earlier, looks like he's trying to hit the ball up there into the second deck. You see a guy with that front shoulder and hips flying open like that. Why would you throw him anything straight?
Nice job by Barnhart to smother that ball, keep it out in front of him, preventing the runners from advancing. So now 3-2 pitch coming to Cameron Maybin. That one just never starting anywhere near the strike zone, and Maybin was able to pick that up right away.
Yeah, you've got to start it somewhere in the zone to get that commitment from a batter that is in swing mode. And that's where Maybin is right now.
First and second, 1-1 game, 1 out, 3-2 to Maybin. Ran a fastball underneath his hands, and he's able to get a piece of it. One run, 8 hits for Atlanta. 1 run, only 2 hits for the Reds. Braves have Pierzynski at second. And Jace Peterson on at first. 1 out, 3-2 pitch again. It's ball 4, and they're loaded. Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value this season. It's called the Kroger Meal Deal, and it is a great deal. For $9, you receive a hot dog, a bag of chips, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, get your good going with Blue Diamond almonds. Make sure to get your Kroger Meal Deal next time you come to Great American Ballpark. Jeff Pico, the Reds pitching coach, out to visit with Leake, who came into this game on a run of 16 consecutive scoreless innings. He had pitched 3 consecutive games where you could not pitch any better than he did. His last 2 games, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs in Atlanta. His last time out, 8 innings, 6 hits, no runs against the Pirates, and he's only given up 1 run tonight. But in each of the last 2 innings, he's had to pitch around some shoddy Reds defense behind him. And for the first time all night, the Reds have action in their bullpen. They're loaded for Shelby Miller. Breaking ball, strike 1. Pedro Villarreal, the right-hander, just activated when the Reds designated Kevin Gregg for assignment prior to the game tonight. High bouncer. Frazier will come to the plate, and the runner is out at the plate.
Outstanding play. Great awareness by Frazier and the catcher, Tucker Barnhart. You know who's running? It's the catcher, A.J. Pierzynski. Even with the high bounder, you still have a play at the plate because you know you can't turn 2. Look at this play.
And it's interesting, you saw Barnhart did not have a foot on the plate. He knew the throw was coming. So he made a tag rather than getting the force out.
And they may challenge the blocking of the plate rule here, because Barnhart was clearly leg in front of the plate and standing in the line.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez comes out, talks first to the home plate umpire, Laz Diaz. The crew chief is a third base umpire who now comes in. That's Jeff Nelson, and they will take a look. Again, you can't stand in front of the plate to block the plate if you don't have the ball.
Right.
But my question to you would be, Jeff, on a force play, where else are you going to stand?
I agree.
Now, even though Barnhart did not have a foot making contact with home plate, well, this still is a force play, and I don't know where a guy's supposed to go.
The throw took Barnhart into the runner, and with that being said, you're trying to search for the plate. You can see his left foot searching for the plate. The throw takes him into the runner. And with that, I don't know that that's necessarily blocking the plate. You can see the back foot of Barnhart searching for the plate as Frazier went towards the baseball.
Tell you what, you look at that replay one more time, and A.J. Pierzynski is saying, nope, my foot was on the plate before he tagged me. So I think Freddie Gonzalez might be challenging, as you suspected. Was he in front of the plate? But at the same time, they can tell whether he's safe or out.
Right. Well, I would say this is a good challenge by Freddie Gonzalez, one way or the other. But you have to wonder, are they challenging the blocking of the plate, or are they challenging the fact that the foot got in before the tag? I don't think you can challenge both. Kind of have to pick your poison here. He got him on the arm, but it does not look as though he got him in time. Still a great play by Frazier. There was no way that the Reds were going to turn 2 there. And the only real play that you had to stop the run from scoring was to go to the plate. Yeah, but we saw Freddie Gonzalez come out to home plate. Normally, you see the manager standing at the top step of the dugout pointing for the challenge, but I would imagine that because of the controversy of whether it's blocking the plate or the tag, you had to go out and explain, okay, this is what I'm challenging.
All right, here comes the verdict. It is out at the plate. And again, remember now, there are 3 outcomes of any review. You have confirmed, which means that, and that's what they're saying here, confirmed, clear and convincing evidence that the call on the field was correct. There's also stands where they don't change it. But when they tell you stands, there's no clear and convincing evidence to confirm or overturn the call. And then, of course, there is overturning the call.
Well, maybe the replay umpire saw that the ball entered the mitt, and the mitt tagged the top hand of Pierzynski before his foot actually touched home plate.
All right, after all of that, we're still tied at 1. You're right, Cowboy. Mike Leake has 1 more out to get. The Braves still have them loaded. 2 away in a 1-1 game. And it's 2-0 on Nick Markakis.
Well, it's actually a benefit for the Reds that Todd Frazier's throw actually took Barnhart towards third base, took him up the line a little bit, because it actually helped him get the tag quicker than if he had been staying at the plate.
2-1 to Markakis, who is, well, he's 1 for 3 in the game, but it was a gift base hit. I mean, it was nothing more than a simple roller to the right side. And Joey Votto, his natural reaction is to go after the ball to his right. His teammate Brandon Phillips was standing right behind him. 100th pitch of the night by Leake is fouled away, and that'll even the count at 2-2 on Markakis.
Well, you don't see this too often with Mike Leake. 100 pitches, and you're only in the 6th inning.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, 2-2 pitch. Votto will play this one himself, and that is that in the Atlanta 6th inning.
Houdini.
The Braves have stranded 8 in the last 3 innings. Frazier gun downs Pierzynski. for the would-be go-ahead run. Those will weigh in on why pitchers need to be able to throw inside more. We'll head to Arizona and meet some happy campers, former Reds who have found a calling out in the desert. And Todd Frazier's getting good-natured grief for his success as a Little League World Series champion. It's a great show. You'll hear from Reds hitting coach John Long. Jeff Piecoro, Doug Flynn host Reds Weekly Wednesday nights at 6 on Fox Sports Ohio. Marlon Byrd is our steel power tool performer. Look what he did on the last road trip. Just that trip alone compared to everything else leading up to it. Now, Marlins had a tough time tonight with Shelby Miller. Of course, everybody else has too. Struck him out twice, and that fastball just ate him up. First pitch pop up. You know, we told you that Leake is up over 100 pitches through 6 full innings tonight. Shelby Miller is 1 out into the 6th inning and has thrown 71 pitches.
And Leake is done.
Joey Votto has struck out swinging each of his first 2 times up tonight. The last Red to reach base was when Christopher Negron was hit on the left shoulder, which had the time in the 2nd inning, loaded the bases with nobody out. Ever since then, Miller has been terrific. In a row retired by Miller. You mentioned it looks like Mike Leake's night is over, so Brian Price perhaps tinkering around with looking down the road in this game. 2 away. Frazier coming up in this 1-1 game.
But there are times where you get to the 6th inning, you've thrown 100 pitches, you've allowed 2 hits. You may go out for the 7th. But there are also times where you fit back-to-back ball games, 8 innings, shutout baseball. You've got a ball game where you've kept your team in it. You've given up 8 hits tonight. It's been a struggle tonight, but yet Mike Leake has been up to the challenge. You're not going to have your starters go 7 or 8 innings every night. Somebody's going to have to step up down there sooner or later.
1-1 to Todd Frazier. We certainly wish Kevin Gregg the very, very best. I have no doubt there will be another team that will certainly consider taking a chance on Gregg. There's a broken bat, foul ball. And Frazier will wait on a new piece of lumber from the dugout. I mean, this is a guy who's had an excellent major league career. And the Reds brought him in and it just didn't work out. Sometimes that's just the way it goes.
Well, from a pure stuff standpoint, as far as velocity on the fastball, break on the breaking ball, I thought he was fine. But the key in this game is not about stuff. It's about location and the ability to move the ball from side to side. And there were too many balls that he left in the middle of the plate. I think he would tell you that.
Frazier gone on strikes, and that's all for the Reds in the 6th. We move to the 7th. The Reds will go to their bullpen in a 1-1 game.
Sports Ohio, and we would like you to check us out 30 minutes before every Reds game. It's the Reds Live pregame edition. It's brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. First look at the lineups, features, so much more. It's Reds Live pregame right here on Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day, and man, are we looking forward to All-Star Weekend coming up in July here in Cincinnati. Now it's no longer just a couple-day event. It's a 3 or 4 day event, including on Sunday. They have a celebrity softball game right here at GABP. And today they announced some of the participants in that. First of all, they announced some of the former players that will play in it. And those include Aaron Boone, Eric Davis, Paul O'Neill, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson, the great Fred Lynn, and Olympic softball medalist Jenny Finch. Now, they will be alongside talent from music, TV, movies, and more. Those will be announced at a later date. But I'm telling you guys, some of the big names they are going after, it is going to be a who's who here at GABP. It is going to be a fun, fun time for Cincinnati, who hasn't had the All-Star game since 1988.
Boy, in the city and the Reds franchise and everybody involved is just doing an incredible job in preparation for that. Some of the things going on along the banks right now, I mean, it's one thing of the building that is going on, and of course General Electric, their aviation headquarters downtown here, as Tony Cingrani takes over on the mound and goes 2-0 on Andrelton Simmons. But some of the work being done on the park, right along the river, it's just incredible.
All over the city.
Now, Cingrani, you may remember, who has been so good since really being rescued from the witness protection program about 2 weeks ago. But yesterday came in the game and He threw 9 straight balls to walk a couple of batters. And wound up giving up a run. Swung on and fouled out of play. He got the final out behind J.J. Hoover in the 6th. But in the 7th, he walked the first 2 batters, and one of them came around to score. And he's fallen now to 3-2 against Simmons. 2, 3, and 4 in the Atlanta batting order here in a 1-1 game in the 7th. Strike 3 called. Simmons trying to buy a strike there, a ball there, and he knew it.
There's some guys out of your bullpen that you can't go longer than 2 days without using them. And you see how sharp that pitch was. Right on the money, right at the bottom of the kneecaps. I mean, that split the plate in half.
Ball 1 to left-handed batting Freddie Freeman. Lined out to left field in the 1st inning. Single to left in the 4th, drew a walk in the 5th. 1-1 to Freeman. Breaking ball too low, and the count is even at 2-2 on Freeman. Struck him out on a high fastball at 94 miles per hour.
We talked about that pitch with Shelby Miller. Same is true with the left-hander Tony Cingrani. The ball, because of the arm action of Cingrani, almost looks like it's coming out of the back of his hat. Johnny Gomes.
Well, yeah, big round of applause, a nice round of applause for Johnny Gomes. Wherever he plays, he is almost instantly a crowd favorite for the way he plays the game and his fire, his passion.
And he's looking to do one thing, and that's leave the building with the baseball.
He hit some big home runs for the Reds.
Oh, yeah.
Back when they reached the postseason while Johnny was here for a short while. Brought so much enthusiasm and that passion we mentioned really every day. And he's done the same. That was a good pickup by the Braves. We were trying to build this thing, not from the bottom. I mean, it's not like they're spending $40 million on a team payroll. They've got some stars on this team.
They've got some young guys, and they need a veteran presence to issue some accountability. I would say that Johnny is a number 1 when it comes to keeping guys in line.
1-2 delivery. Got him swinging, and Cingrani fans aside in the 7th inning. Phillips, Bruce, Negron coming up. A 1-1 game in
15 in a row, but it's not as though the Reds did not have opportunities early in this ball game. Hamilton walked to open the game. Check out that speed to second. That got in the head of Shelby Miller because on the very next throw, he threw one out into left center field. Hamilton goes to third. He is standing there. A strikeout of Bird, a strikeout of Votto, and then that ground ball strands Hamilton at third. Second inning, they had Miller on the ropes again with the bases loaded. Jay Bruce gets caught in a rundown, but the Reds managed to run. That's their lone run in this ball game. And now you've let Shelby Miller settle in a little bit.
Well, as you mentioned, he's done more than just settle in. 15 in a row retired. And the Reds will try and change that right here and right now. Brandon Phillips. Ahead ball one. That's the third one in this game up around the noggin to Brandon Phillips. He singled and scored the only Reds run back in the second inning. Miller threw up around his neck and then got him to ground out to short his last time up. And the first two here, he's come high and tight. 2-0. 3-0. Well, you'll take it by hook or by crook at this point. Any way you can get somebody on and just.
Yeah, I don't think those are purpose pitches. I think just Miller is just overthrowing, trying to get after Brandon Phillips.
A 4-pitch walk to begin the inning.
After 15 in a row.
Well, we invite you to cheer on the Redlegs Saturday. They'll be here at Great American Ballpark, and as part of our Super Saturdays, the first 25,000 fans in attendance get that Johnny Bench Stars of the Queen City bobblehead presented by John Morrell. Come on down Saturday night. 7:10. Giants will be in town, and tickets are available for the entire homestand. 2 more against Atlanta, 4 against the defending world champion Giants.
We just got finished talking about this. Leadoff base runner on in the first, leadoff base runner on in the second. The Reds did get their 1 run in the second. Now here in the 7th, got a little more fatigue setting in on Shelby Miller, but you've got your leadoff batter aboard. You have to cash in your opportunities against tough pitchers, and with a 1.66 ERA, Shelby Miller is one tough cookie.
Jay 1 of 2 in the game. His only hit came in the second inning when he had Brandon at first base, and with Freeman holding Brandon on then, Jay dribbled one through into right field. He hit with 1 out and nobody on in the 4th inning, and Miller struck him out. In the air, way back into right field. Did he get enough? He did not. Just in front of the wall, Markakis able to reach up and get it. You knew he didn't kill it, but you wonder, did he have enough?
Ball got in on him just a bit. Otherwise, this is a 3-1 ball game. Well, you can see Markakis feeling for the wall there just in case he had to make a leap.
So now Christopher Negron hit by a pitch, his first time up, fly to short center in the 4th inning. Reds still without a hit. The 15 in a row retired by Miller came to an end on the walk to Brandon to begin this 7th. But the Reds have not had a hit since a Jay Bruce single in the 2nd inning. Negron was so impressive during spring training. I mean, all around, he was probably the best Reds player they had. He played a lot. Of course, Brennan Bosch made the team with a real good spring. So too did Chris Dominguez. But Negron is just having a really hard time kicking it into gear when getting playing time here in the regular season. He is 4 for 37.
Well, when you come from spring training and the season starts and you're a bench player, it's like they forget about you because they're trying to get the regulars ready. Your at bats are few and far between. They're usually against somebody throwing about 170. And it's tough to get in any kind of groove at all.
Same thing's happened to Bosch.
Oh, exactly. And I believe if Bosch was playing with some semblance of regularity, and obviously there's no place for him to play, but I think if he was playing with some semblance of regularity, he would hit with some major consistency. This is a guy that led the AAA Pacific Coast League in hitting last year. He knows how to hit, and he's a veteran player.
Negron gone swinging. 2 out. 8 strikeouts in the game now for Miller.
Shelby Miller not afraid to come after you with that number 1. 8th strikeout here tonight.
I mean, so far this year, there is no doubt who the Atlanta Braves' #1 starter is. He may not have pitched on opening day. That's Julio Teheran. But this guy right now is their ace. The Reds will not see Teheran, who pitched so brilliantly against them last year, and again the 1 start this year, outdueling Cueto on that Sunday at Turner Field. Fultonevich will pitch here tomorrow night. Young right-hander. The Reds kicked around. 1-2 on Barnhart.
You were talking about the trade with Shelby Miller coming over from the Cardinals, along with Terrell Jenkins, Jordan Walden going to the Cardinals, along with Jason Hayward. There are certain trades that work out well for both clubs. Now, Jordan Walden's on the disabled list right now, but you had to know that was a possibility with the way that his mechanics are.
There's a base hit into center field by Tucker Barnhart. Brandon Phillips is coming to third, and he will get there easily. So the Reds have a go-ahead run 90 feet away with 2 outs here in the 7th inning.
Cameron Maven looked like he Cadillac that one a little bit. Ball right back up the middle. Phillips thinking first to third. And you can see Maven just kind of jogging in there. It's one thing to sprint in and then you slow down. It's another thing to jog in and Cadillac and then try to speed up. That doesn't work real well.
Of course, a homecoming for Roger McDowell. He grew up here in Cincinnati. Graduated a Coleraine Cardinal at Coleraine High School.
He had one of the best sinkers I think I've ever seen.
Boy, he had a really nice career. Really good career.
I mean, Billy Swift that I played with out in San Francisco had a great sinking fastball, hard, good movement, downward. But Roger McDowell, that ball moved like a Nintendo joystick.
The guys used to say it was like hitting a shot put.
You hit it even on the square of the bat, like hitting a tire. Thanks.
All right, Schumacher now with a chance, as he will bat for Cingrani, who gives him a perfect inning, fanning the side. Schumacher had 3 hits. You may remember on Saturday when he got a start as part of that doubleheader in Chicago. 3 hits and 5 at bats, had a double and 2 runs batted in.
Yeah, this is the danger of coming off the bench against a guy like Shelby Miller. We've talked about it all night. He's going to elevate the fastball. As a pinch hitter, you're looking for a fastball to hit. It's very difficult to judge and make the pitcher get that ball down.
Schumacher trying to deliver, down in the count, 0-2. Go ahead, run at third. 1 ball and 2 strikes. #100th pitch of the night coming up for Shelby Miller. This more than likely is it for him here in the 7th. Pierzynski throws out Schumacher, and the Reds lead the go-ahead run at third. We're off to the 8th, still a 1-1 game. One ball game. Reds and the Braves in the first of 3. We're on our way to the 8th inning. Tony Cingrani, very impressive here tonight. Struck out the side.
He came in throwing gas, and now it's time for tonight's flamethrower. Brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. And here it is. A little Blue Bayou. The old high hard one. Well, Cingrani comes back, 2nd day in a row, throwing BBs. Let's hope the same is true for one Jumbo Diaz.
Well, we told you Cingrani allowed a run out of the bullpen yesterday. Jumbo allowed a run out of the bullpen yesterday.
You know, it's kind of like Goldilocks. You don't want your arm to be too hot. You don't want it to be too cold. You want it to be just right. And if you can get that 2nd day in a row, sometimes it's just right.
Goldilocks. I don't know much about anything in this world, Cowboy, but I can assure you of one thing, if nothing else. Not one time on Fox Sports Ohio in our coverage of Reds baseball has Goldilocks ever been tied together with a pitcher's arm. So I tip my cap to you, young man. Very creative. Not too hot, not too cold.
You want that baby just
very nice.
I like to read to my babies.
Here to that. You know, when Jumbo has gotten into trouble, the leadoff man seems to have a lot to do with it. The same held true for Kevin Gregg. And, you know, you could probably say, well, it holds true for a lot of guys, and you certainly would be correct in that. The home run ball, though, at the end of the day, has been the killer for Jumbo Diaz so far this year. 8 of his 10 runs have been given up this year on the home run ball.
When you watch Diaz, and when he gets in trouble, he starts a little bit of body lean as the knee comes up, falling towards the first base side. The hand gets flat. It doesn't kill velocity, but it kills location. And you can see his body straight to the first base side every time. When he's going from second over the mound straight to home in that line, that's when he's at his best. That needs to be corrected, because he pulls the breaking ball to the first base side, he pulls the fastball, and it runs right back over the heart of the plate. You can watch Diaz, the knee comes up, body lean starts to come back. You can see him fall to the first base side. That actually wasn't that bad of a delivery there. But in that game in Chicago, everything was first base side.
They grown to the glove side. Nice play to throw out Callaspo.
You know, Tom, you were talking about the leadoff base runner getting aboard. For a relief pitcher, you've already got a tremendous amount of adrenaline as we watch this great play by Negron. But when that adrenaline you bring into the ball game, and all of a sudden that first batter gets on, you go into DEFCON 5. You start flying, and your heart's beating, and that creates even more of a mechanical deficiency, especially for a guy like Diaz. It exacerbates the problem.
All right, so, you know, play help the young man, okay? And it doesn't have to be Jumbo. I mean, you're not being the Reds pitching coach, but I'm saying for a guy who's coming in out of the bullpen with all those things in mind, you suggest what?
Well, number one, you've got to make sure that you're on point in the bullpen. And then when you get to the mound.
You mean with your mechanics?
With your mechanics. Okay. And when you get to the mound, you've got to forget about the name on the back of the jersey, and you look at the mitt and the sign that the catcher is giving you. You're throwing the ball 98, 99 miles an hour. I don't care what the name on the back of the jersey is. Make a pitch. That's all you have to worry about.
Took a little off there. That was his off-speed stuff at 90.
You don't have to throw maximum effort every time to get a batter out. And if you're throwing maximum effort every time, you're not going to get the job done.
Good off-speed stuff right there to put away Pierzynski. 2 away in the inning.
Change up, and the bottom falls out of it. When you throw 98, 99, and then you drop an 88-mile-an-hour changeup in there, the hitter's already thinking, I've got to clear my hips, get my hands out there just to make contact. Well, by the time that ball got there, the bat was already through the strike zone and gone.
So now Jace Peterson with 2 down and nobody on. 1-1 game. We're in the 8th inning. And a fastball at 97 is low.
So far, second day in a row has been a godsend for this bullpen. Cingrani and Diaz. That fine line in the bullpen. You want to get them some work, some regular work, but you don't want to overwork them. But I did that job for a long time. I'd rather you wear me out than not pitch me.
Two and one to Peterson. The Reds will have the top of the order. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Hamilton, Bird, then Votto. Miller did throw a complete game, 99 pitches his last time out. But pitching deep in the game has really not been the MO of Miller until this year. Boy, does he look good this year. Votto, tell me about Goldilocks one more time.
Not too hot, not too cold, just right.
Jumbo with a perfect game. Proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Well, I'd like to remind you, Saturday MLB returns with another doubleheader division rivalry, starting with these Braves taking on the Marlins. Braves have been on Fox 3 weeks in a row. Then the Pirates will go to Wrigley Field to take on the Cubbies. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Pirates, after losing 2 of 3 to the Reds, won the final 2 games of that weekend series over the Cardinals. Cardinals are off tonight. Pirates, by the way, held on in the 9th inning to beat Philadelphia 4-3. Luis Avilan takes over on the mound for Shelby Miller. Well, Miller's 7 spectacular innings tonight of 3-hit, 1-run baseball. Neither starter can win it, nor can either lose it. Miller punched out 8, walked 2.
Avilan, for the most part, when the right-handers there, fastball, changeup, working them away. Left-hander, they're going to see the hammer.
Billy Hamilton is still looking for his first bunt hit this season. Marlon Byrd, the batter, struck out swinging, struck out looking, and popped a second, but all those at bats were against a hard throwing right-hander Shelby Miller. Now he gets a look at the left-hander Avila. Oh boy, just missed it.
Give him a changeup.
Johnny Gomes calling off the shortstop Simmons, and there are 2 out.
Yeah, you look at that bunt by Hamilton. It looked like he was trying to drag bunt as we see the changeup running away. Got Byrd just out in front. But that ball was running away from Hamilton from a left-hander, and he was trying to drag it down the third baseline. That's a very difficult move to make. That's the ball that you push bunt to the right side hard right at the second baseman. From the left side, you have a right-hander, ball running away from you. That's the ball you drag down the third baseline. A little bit of game plan, gamesmanship.
Now Joey with 2 down and nobody on.
Well, this is the whole reason Avilan is in the ball game, is to face this guy right here. Keep him in the ballpark. And as I said earlier, he's going to see the breaking ball and the fastball in off the plate.
The Reds had 2 hits in the second inning. The first 2 batters in the inning, Phillips and Bruce. They wound up loading the bases with none out. They scored 1 run. They have 1 hit since that time. That was a 2-out single an inning ago by Tucker Barnhart. Yet their pitching has been so good that here we are in the 8th in a 1-1 duel. 3 balls and a strike to Joey Votto. With the right-handed batting, Todd Frazier waiting on deck. One, 2, 3 go the Reds in the 8th, and we go to the 9th in a 1-1 ball game. In this game, not much. Sack fly RBI off the bat of Tucker Barnhart, plating Brandon Phillips in the Reds' second inning. In the 4th, 19 consecutive scoreless innings came to an end for Mike Leake when Andrelton Simmons homered. The Braves would end up loading the bases, but no further damage, as Leake and Miller on top of their game again. And Shelby Miller in the driver's seat with Kia. 8 strikeouts in his 7 innings of 3-hit 1-run baseball. This guy's really starting to become everything the Cardinals thought he would become. Now granted, we're only a month in the year, and Miller needs to prove he can do it, sustain it. Not a 1.6 ERA, but certainly sustain it over the course of an entire year, which he didn't do with the Cardinals. But boy, that talent is there.
They want some consistency in late July, August, and September.
Aroldis Chapman gave up his first earned run since August of last year yesterday in a 3-3 game, 3 hits in a row, after he had retired the first 2 White Sox in the bottom of the 9th inning. Now he's still working on an extended consecutive scoreless inning streak here at his home ballpark. Chapman has not surrendered a run in 32 2/3 consecutive innings here at GABP. Maven to be followed by a pinch hitter for Avila, and then back to the top of the order in Nick Markakis. Now at 1-2. Yeah, the only thing that worries you in this at bat against Maven, as we pointed out already, he is bailing and wailing on everything. If that fastball is away from him, he won't touch it. But he could run into it by accident if you left that thing on the inside part of the plate. Because we know he has more than enough power to hit it out of any ballpark. This guy's got a lot of pop in his bat.
Chapman and Tucker Barnhart obviously not on the same page here.
.102 miles per hour. Well, our Miller Time moment brought to you by Miller Lite.
1 year ago today, Chapman returned after being struck in the face in spring training, and he punches out the side. That's a pretty good way to jump back out there.
First pitch slider snaps in there to Phil Gosselin, the pinch hitter.
Gosselin likes to shoot that ball the other way. Saw him do it in Atlanta. Kind of come in on his hands.
Cubs held on to beat the New York Mets tonight, so all Central Division teams that were in action. We told you the Cardinals were off tonight, but the Cubs, Brewers, and the Pirates all winners tonight. That one shot right back from where it came from. A one-out single by Gosselin. The Washington Nationals scored 10 runs in the first 2 innings tonight at Chase Field in Phoenix. And that is an 11-0 Nationals lead now in the 6th, with the one-time Diamondback, now Washington National, Max Scherzer on the mound.
It's like the Nationals are starting to find their groove.
That they are.
Disco in the capital.
That's one of 3 other games currently in progress outside of this one. Dodgers a 1-0 5th inning lead against Miami. Opening game of that series at Dodger Stadium. Boston and Oakland tied at 1 in the 4th. Here 1-1 in the 9th. Markakis is 1 of 4 tonight. And an infield single in the 5th inning. And now he has a hit off Chapman, and there is trouble a brewing here in the Atlanta ninth against Aroldis Chapman.
Watch where this pitch is. Looked like it was about to hit in the dirt. It's a golf shot out into center field.
Now the right-handed batting Andrelton Simmons, who has a pair of extra base hits in the game tonight. He had a double over Jay Bruce's head in the opening inning. Had a home run for the only Atlanta runoff leak in the fourth. Simmons is 1 for 2 in his career against Chapman. His one hit, a home run. Strike one.
And Simmons, like Goslin, up the middle the other way.
Runner takes off for third and will easily steal third.
Never looked at it.
That is extremely alert base running by Goslin at second base. And he now stands 90 feet away with a tie-breaking run.
Chapman came to his set looking at Goslin, but never looked back again.
Well, now the game's most prolific strikeout pitcher needs a strikeout in the worst sort of way. One on Andrelton Simmons. You know, this time a year ago, you could strike out virtually every hitter in this entire Braves lineup with regularity outside of Freeman and Simmons. But when they overhauled this roster, one thing they swore they would do, if nothing else, was get rid of all of the strikeouts. And they've done a great job in getting that part of their offense turned around.
And they've done a great job in this kind of situation, hitting with runners in scoring position.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Andrelton Simmons. Got him swinging for out number 2. So Chapman comes up with the strikeout and has 1 more out to go. The best hitter in this Atlanta lineup in Freeman.
Started in the zone and get it out. We were talking about this earlier. Every hitter trying to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball has got to cheat a little bit.
So real nice work there by Barnhart on that slider in the dirt. Freeman 1 of 6 against Chapman. Aroldis has struck him out 3 times. 1 more out to go. And that's strike 1. Boy, Chapman with that fastball is cutting it loose tonight. I mean, we're used to 100. He's regularly at 102 here tonight. 0-1 on Freeman. Here comes a runner, and he will score. That fastball at 103 got by Barnhart. And the Braves take a 2-1 lead here in the top of the 9th inning.
Boy, Chapman is livid right now. That ball looked like it sailed as Chapman cut it loose. Watch this ball as it comes out of his hand. Way outside. It did catch the mitt of Tucker Barnhart. But you can see that ball continuing to cut. That ball started almost at the umpire's right shoulder, which would be inside, and cut all the way across the plate at 103.
Chapman had not allowed a run this year. He did not allow a run in the entire month of September last year before yesterday. when the White Sox collected 3 straight hits and scored the winning run against him in the bottom of the 9th inning. He came into a tie game then. He comes into a tie game tonight. And the Braves have scored. It's the first time Chapman has given up a run at home in 33 1/3 innings. 3-2 on Freddie Freeman.
When was the last time you saw Chapman throw a 3-1 breaking ball? And it was a strike whether Freeman swings or not.
Three-two pitch. Diving play by Negron to knock it down, and he just saved a run.
Yes, he did.
That is a great effort right there by Christopher Negron on an infield hit, a base hit by Freeman. And the runner had to hold at third base.
That ball almost hit the second base bag. And Markakis scores easily if he does not catch that baseball.
On the count on Johnny Gomes, and a fastball is high, a ball and a strike. Chapman has allowed more hits in the last 2 days than he had allowed this entire season combined before yesterday. Johnny had a good rip at that fastball to 101. Votto on the bag to end the inning. But Atlanta scores to break a 1-1 tie. Frazier, Phillips, Bruce hoping to rally the Reds in the bottom of the 9th. Ohio, be sure to stick around. We have Reds Live brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. It's coming up shortly. Reds need a rally here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Braves score in the top of the 9th against Aroldis Chapman, and take a look at this. Big fella's mighty upset.
That was 101 into the bat rack with his glove.
Well, it's not Jason Grilli, it is Jim Johnson who is coming on to try and nail this one down. Of course, he was nearly automatic, saving 50-plus games, in back-to-back years
with the Orioles.
And then he went to Oakland last year, and it just fell apart on him. And a mystery to everybody how a guy that saves over 100 games in 2 years in a row seemingly can't throw the ball over the plate. And when he did, it got whacked. Well, he quickly gets ahead of Frazier, 0-2 in 14 and a third innings. Johnson has given up 16 hits, 4 walks. He has 1 save. Grilli leads the team with 9.
Well, this is a tough pitch to take right there. Frazier gets away with it.
That ball hit hard, but right at Cameron Maybin. Allowed out. That's the hardest ball the Reds have hit in a long time tonight. They only have 3 hits total in the game. Brandon lifts one into left center field. It'll fall in, a base hit. And really another really good night at the plate for Brandon Phillips. You know, there'd be some out there saying, well, you know, he's not hitting for, you know, any power like he once did. The bottom line is Phillips is hitting the baseball.
Well, he came into the ball game hitting .310. I'll take that.
All day, every day. 2 hits tonight. Reds have a total of 4. He's also drawn a walk. Now Jay Bruce. You know, you look at Phillips, another thing he has done very, very well this year is hit when it counts. In other words, hit with runners in scoring position. Phillips, one of the few Reds, along with Votto, with very good numbers. He's up to .315 and has 13 runs batted in when runners are in scoring position. Votto has 2 more than Phillips. Well, that long look on Chapman's face could break into a big grin if Bruce can run into one right now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He nearly left the yard in the 7th inning. A ball caught in front of the wall, reaching up against the wall by Markakis. 2-2 on Jay Bruce. Tying run at first. Started 2, is able to lay off. It's in the dirt. Ball 3.
Got ahead 0-2. The last 3 pitches have been those off-speed pitches down into the dirt. Trying to get Bruce to chase.
The payoff pitch coming to Bruce. Phillips going. Swung on and missed. And Phillips is in there safely with a steal. But the Reds are down to their final out. Brandon is 5th stolen base in as many attempts.
Jim Johnson went to that same off-speed pitch 4 consecutive times. 3 times Bruce laid off, but on the 3-2, couldn't quite hold that.
And right now is a situation where the manager's hands are tied because of what could happen on defense. Zach Cozart hitting over .320 on the year. Not in the lineup tonight. Still bothered by that tender wrist after getting hit on the left wrist.
You can't play Mesoraco or Brian Pena at shortstop. Nor Brennan Bosch.
And the 2-time Gold Glove winning shortstop of the Braves will throw out Negron, and that is that. So for a second straight day, Aroldis Chapman is handed a loss. He had not allowed a run the entire year before yesterday. Braves win it. 2-1 the final. Reds Live is coming up next right here on Fox Sports Ohio.